Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel again. You can hear in my voice and look at my face, I look absolutely shattered. Been on a stag do in Edinburgh, that's where I am right now, and we've just been chilling on the Sunday before we go back to London and back to Bull Street, of course. But yeah, just watched the Old Firm derby earlier, done a video on that, so go check that one out and you can hear my thoughts on it. Gerrard's first Old Firm. But we've just watched Man United versus Burnley, and it's a game that literally everyone's been talking about Mourinho for the last 3-4 weeks, really. I mean, he's been the prime target for everyone, and the Spurs game was tricky because actually there were some positives from it, and I think it almost needed to reach that bottom to start to move forward again. Everyone talking about, is it win or bust, but because you're playing a Burnley side who are in really poor form, who are out of Europe recently and struggling with confidence in a big way, and so it was the perfect game for Man United to get that response, get those 3 points and get their season up and running again, and that's how it turned out. It was a 2-0 win, of course, for Man United. The team for Man United, a few changes there, of course. Sanchez coming in, which I think was definitely the right move. Lingard playing up there with Lukaku in the last game for me didn't work at all. And I really do think that Sanchez is, although he got taken off, I thought it was a bit harsh that he got taken off, because I think a lot of the creativity comes from him and his connections with Lukaku and with Pogba. And I think you saw that with the first goal. So he was playing quite close to Lukaku, especially when they had the ball on that left-hand side. And with Luke Shaw getting better and better game by game, more comfortable and fit, I think on that left-hand side, Sanchez is he's gonna link up really well with all of these guys because he's such an intelligent footballer. And I think anyone who's saying that he's at his best days, I mean, maybe, but he's still a fantastic footballer. And on that left-hand side, when you've got Pogba around him, Lukaku around him, Lingard as well, Lingard was able to get a little bit deeper, get on the ball a little bit more, and I thought he looked a lot more comfortable and confident as well. But Sanchez in the first half was one of the players of the first half. Burnley, they played a lot of the same players who played in the game against Olympiacos and obviously lost, drew that game, but went out of Europe. And the big thing was, and it was perfect for Mourinho and Man United, is there was no real tempo. It wasn't really high tempo games, and that's where sometimes Man United struggle because they like to control the pace of the game, and they were able to do that in this one. Sanchez setting up the first goal, cracking cross, and again, like I said, it's that telepathy. I think that if he can have that with Pogba and have that with Lukaku, which you saw for that first goal, Lukaku's looking for it, playing on the last man, and he's played a good ball to a big target man at the back post, and Lukaku's there and he scored the goal. Lukaku able to get the second goal, which I think highlighted just a lack of confidence and that sort of zip that Burnley need to regain again, and which they might be able to. I think them going out of Europe might actually be a good thing for them, because there was there must have been 5 or 6 people in the box at least, and just Lukaku, and it's Lukaku who's able to get on the end of it and get that second goal. So they went in at half-time 2-0, which is good as well. 30 minutes, I think it was, for the first goal, and that's huge, isn't it? Because look, everyone's on Mourinho's case, everyone's on Man United's case, and what you saw, I thought, was a really professional performance from Man United, certainly in the first half and throughout the game. In the second half, obviously the big talking point is Rashford getting sent off. Look, I think Jonathan Moss, I think it was the ref. He's got no choice but to send him off. Barsley's had a little kick at him. Rashford's then gone there and it's not a headbutt, but it's like a firm placing of his head on Barsley. I think another player, that would have been rolling around it would have been an even easier decision for the referee to make. But Rashford, that's really dumb. He's just come on. He's someone who's not starting regularly, and he's been given that opportunity to come on for Sanchez and try and do something after, as I say, I felt like Sanchez made all the right noises today. I thought he was good, and then Rashford's come on and he's let himself down in a huge way there and got himself sent off. And so you think then maybe Burnley can get back into it, and they huffed and puffed. But when it comes to Burnley, and I'll talk about the players who I thought really stepped up for Man United once that sending off happened. But when it comes to Burnley, I don't think there's any need to panic. I think it's early in the season, obviously. Look, it's not going well at all, and I think there's a real lack of confidence, but they'll play lesser opposition, they'll be less tired, and the principles that's got them to this level, which is resolute defending, hard work, and then unselfish play going forward with good pros who work their bollocks off for the team. and that will come through in the end. And they just need a few things to drop, because there was a lot of times where the pattern of play was good, it was okay, but then that last ball or that last little moment, they weren't confident. They weren't confident in what they were doing, and they just need a goal, need a couple of set pieces and a 1-0 win, and then all of a sudden the confidence is up. So they'll be fine. I think they'll be absolutely fine. They won't go down. I can't see that happening, because I think there's too much. There's too many good pros in there who work hard, and Aaron Leonard, I thought, still showed he had good pace. In the centre midfield, lacking ideas a little bit. McNeil had his moments, but I don't think he's not the answer just yet. But it's good that they're bringing through young players like that. And again, I think those forwards that you've got, Ashley Barnes, Vokes, Chris Wood, they're all hard-working strikers, but they haven't got that swagger. So they need to find that confidence. But after the sending off, what really, really impressed me were two players, and it was Paul Pogba and it was Lukaku. Lukaku stepped it up. They both stepped it up in a huge way, because basically they had to get to a point then when they were strong and steady at the back, defended quite deep, and then someone had to do all the running going forward to either create chances, which led to a bit of respite. And Man United still could have scored a couple of goals. Lukaku was able to go through and showed raw pace and power, and went round the goalkeeper, and then Ben Mee's kind of half taken him down. I think he could have given a penalty. I don't think anyone would have said anything, but Ben Mee's also not given up on it, so maybe let him get off with that one. Ben Mee later on, I mean, he's the last man, he's handballed it, so he should have been sent off, which would have made life a little bit easier for Man United. But I thought Lukaku stepped up his game. He was a lot more influential, leading the line on his own, working so hard, has shown he's got every single attribute you'd want. I think just sometimes his finishing can let him down a little bit, but he was explosive on the counter-attack in the last 20 minutes. And Paul Pogba was a captain's performance. It really was. For the last 20 minutes, the running that he put in was huge to allow Burnley not to just dominate. Fellaini was having to drop back deeper because Burnley were throwing the kitchen sink, or trying to at least. And I just thought Paul Pogba, I think sometimes people are obviously very quick to have a go at Paul Pogba, and it's just because you see a bit like Lukaku as well, that he really does have everything. But I think today he stepped up, and they could have just cowered a little bit and held on for the 2-1, but actually they could have scored more goals, and a big reason for that was Paul Pogba showing his athleticism, his drive and his leadership to, as I say, step up and put in some hard yards and carry the ball and do good stuff. So for Mourinho, he'll be delighted with that. That's exactly what he needed. 2-0, clean sheet, no real troubles really. He'll be disappointed with Rashford, but that will calm everything down for a little bit now, and they can go on to the next game with a lot less pressure than this. It's probably the most pressurised game that he's probably gone into. Absolute must win. It really, really was, even at this early stage in the season. But now it looks a lot rosier, and I think Man United fans can be happy with the whole team, because they all, to a man, were up for it, were professional, were switched on, and in those kind of games when you're playing against teams that are going to throw big physical players up against you, that is where Man United are very, very strong, and they came through it with flying colours today. So you've got to give Mourinho credit. He's got it right this time. He brought in Fellaini, had a good game. Sanchez, thought he had a good game, and they got the win. Burnley will be fine, I really do think that, but it was just one of those. It was perfect for Man United, so the pressure is off for now, it seems. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Man United versus Burnley. Sorry, Burnley versus Man United. Burnley were at home. I hate it when people do it the wrong way around. Let me know your thoughts on this, if you're a Man United fan or if you're not. Let me know in the comments below. As I said, if you want to check out that Old Firm video, then that's on the channel right now. My thoughts on that game and where Rangers are in that whole thing. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon.